Okay, moving on to the items for action portion of the agenda. Administration, Dr. Pasquarello.
With all due respect for the community, in order to sustain the school district, I believe I have to make the following recommendations, which is, number one, the elimination of professional employees. As recommended, the board approve the elimination of the following teaching positions due to substantial decrease in pupil enrollment, and as it continues. Number one.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is it second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, may we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Reinhardt. Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAtora.
Yes.
Mr. Clifford.
Yes.
Dr. Smithy.
Yes.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
Number two, the elimination of professional positions. Again, it is recommended the board approve the elimination of the following positions due to substantial decrease in pupil enrollment.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAtora.
Yes.
Mr. Clifford.
Yes.
Dr. Smithy.
No.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Number three, the elimination of professional positions. Recommended the board approve the elimination of the following teaching positions due to substantial decrease in pupil enrollment.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAtora.
Yes.
Mr. Clifford.
Yes.
Dr. Smithy.
No.
Yes.
Number four, the elimination of professional positions. It's recommended to the board approve the elimination of the following teaching positions due to the substantial decrease in pupil enrollment.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAtora.
Yes.
Mr. Clifford.
No.
Dr. Smithy.
No.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
Number five, teacher assistant resignations. It's recommended the board ratify the resignation of Lindsay Snively Kelly, teacher. Snively. Excuse me. Effective January 8, 2013. It's further recommended the board accept the resignation of Michelle Colville, teacher assistant, effective January 25, 2013.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Elimination of teaching positions. I will need a date, effective date here from the board.
Can we have a motion to fill in the blank, please?
Motion to fill in the blank. June 30th, 2013. At the end of the school, official end of the school year.
Louder, please.
How about if could we put in there just the end of the 2012-13 school year?
Okay, we have a motion to fill the blank. Second. Okay, motion to fill the blank has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, we are voting only on filling the blank with effect at the end of the 2012-2013 school year. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right, so now we will vote on number 6 with the blank filled in as discussed. Do we have a motion on number 6?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
We need a roll call on that? Okay, let's have a roll call on that.
Mr. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
No.
Dr. McAvoy. Mr. Clicker.
No.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
Number 7 is the 8-period day at the middle high school. It's recommended the board approve moving from a 9-period day to an 8-period day at the middle high school effective 2013-14 school year.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion?
Just for everybody to be clear on this, the kids will still take 8 classes a day. Right now, the kids have 9 classes, and one of those classes is lunch. We are restructuring the day so that the middle period, some kids will go to lunch, first lunch, but everybody will continue to have the opportunity to take the same 8 academic, elective, etc. classes by doing this. This is not a reduction in instruction time. It is only a shifting around, as I think I remembered. They'll check in rather than going to a 5-minute check-in period before classes start. They'll check in probably first period, and lunch will be divided. But there won't be like 5th period lunch, 6th period lunch, 7th period lunch. So kids are not getting any reduction in instruction because of this. Or I know many of us would not support that, but it just changes the timing a little bit of what they do.
Thank you.
Is there any additional discussion?
Yeah, why is the whole board not there making the vote?
I really can't speak for that.
Why the whole board there?
It's a vote for the vote on taking away teachers to help students that need it, but you're saying that it's not a budget issue, that you're taking away. Why is the whole board here? It's a big deal to take away teachers, take away jobs, when the economy is struggling enough. Why is the whole board here to make a decision? Is it that big a deal?
Okay, well, thank you for the additional comment, but we do have a quorum of the board here. Okay, let's move on. Is there any additional comments on, an additional discussion on item number 7?
Who makes the tiebreaker? Who makes the tiebreaker?
Do we want a roll call on that?
He said who makes the tiebreaker?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Glasses.
Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin. Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Clicker.
Yes.
Dr. Smithy.
Yes.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
Number 8, graduation requirements. It is recommended the board approve the administration's request for class of 2016 graduation requirements set for 25.5 credits. Just to be clear on this point for the board's information before they vote, one of those classes that was computer applications, which will now be taken in the 7th and 8th grade rotation. The other half is the communication classes, which will be absorbed into the English program.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Bartholomew.
Yes.
Mr. Paladin.
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes.
Mr. Barberino.
Yes.
Dr. McAtora.
Yes.
Mr. Flicker.
Yes.
Dr. Smithy.
Yes.
Mr. O'Keefe.
Yes.
Number 9 is the unpaid leaves of absence. It is recommended that the board approve the request of Ann Knoll for unpaid leave of absence for 2 days. It's further recommended the board approve an unpaid leave of absence for Lisa Dietrich for 5 days.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Committee and board agenda review. Buildings and grounds. Mr. Barberino.
Ms. Jackson's going to take that.
Thank you.
Okay, the first one is the use of facilities on Saturdays at the elementary buildings. We're looking into possibly a schedule change for one custodian to work a Tuesday to Saturday shift to cover those Saturday events, and the purpose is to limit overtime wages. Number 2, the repair of the pneumatic problems at Bellevue Elementary. It's going to be around $8,000. If anybody has questions, Mr. Barberino can answer those. And then for next week's agenda items, we just have several building requests usage.
Okay, thank you. Student Affairs Committee.
Okay. Just a reminder, the Arts Odyssey is March 8th. That's that Friday in March. We hope to see a community fair, see a lot of good works by our kids and led by our talented faculty. At the Student Affairs Committee meeting this evening, we talked about the science requirements. Currently, as you know, we require 4 years of science, and we have no plans to change that, though most of the science electives are available in the senior year, so we're talking about making them available, maybe changing it so they're available to juniors as well. We also heard from Mr. Peacock about his trip to the SAS conference, where he learned more about the new Common Core standards that are coming into Pennsylvania and how we'll be continuing to meet those and moving to new requirements. We also heard about our Keystone to Opportunity grants. As you probably know, it's been a nice opportunity for us to bring back whole-day kindergarten and to improve our literacy instruction and extra help both for sort of mid-level kids and for kids who need extra assistance. We've had 2 site visits because they're very picky about how we do it, and we got 100% proficiency from our outside accreditors for meeting our Keystones to Opportunity grant requirements and meeting the needs of our students, which we'll continue to try to do as best we can.
Okay, the athletic committee, we were just getting back from Christmas break. Obviously, the teams are in full swing, and next week's agenda items would be the athletic supplementals for the spring.
Well, thank you. Finance Committee, Mr. Paladin.
Okay, we have several items concerning Anderson Price. Residential tax appeals. This is the automatic appeals that we have decided upon. What this is actually is if someone purchases a home that's over $10,000 above the appraised price, we automatically file an appeal. In the past month, Anderson Price in a court decision gave the district another $1,700 in school taxes generated. Secondly, the real estate tax assessment appeal is concerning the Kingston Corporation, the co-op on Home Avenue in Avalon. This has been an ongoing situation with them. Anderson Price recommends settling on an assessment of $3.3 million for tax years 11 to 13. That's actually going to reduce their taxes owed for 11 to 12 by 21 grand. Anderson Price feels the condition of the property is in such bad condition that any appeal would win. They would win. So they feel it is very equitable to settle at 3.3, even though they were appraised in 11 at 3.6. So, and obviously they've done very well by us in the past. Anderson Price has obviously no vested interest in settling lower if they didn't feel that was really the issue, if it wasn't fair. So they feel that 3.3 million is fair and reasonable. So, and Kingston was going to pay their delinquent outstanding at $25,000. However, they have a $21,000 refund. So, you know, it's just going to be a small net gain. Next, the Anderson Price Real Estate Appeals Program. We're going to make a motion next week to recommend the board approve the continuation of our district's real estate appeal process as outlined by a solicitor. Delinquent tax collection, October, $77,000. That was also by Anderson Price. November, $47,000. Back to number 5. Number 5, Pam's delinquent, EIT, and per capita collection. At this point, again, we're going to recommend to allow this agreement to continue. Pam's continues to be the collector for per capita tax and delinquent EIT for 2010 and before. All right. Number 6, Cottrell Arbentina will be presenting their audit presentation to us in February. Okay, and obviously the preliminary report was positive. Grossman, Yannick, and Ford audit of Allegheny County Schools Health Insurance Consortium. They came in to audit our books, making sure that the people who are on our health insurance should be on our health insurance and whatnot. They're pleased to know they did not identify any areas for improvement insofar as administration of health benefits is concerned. As far as new business, we will be recommending that the board, I'll make sure I have worded this right, that we will not be filing for, we're going to recommend we don't file for exemptions on tax increase for this year. Okay, we'll be recommending that next week.
Any agenda items?
Oh, yeah, we have an agenda items. Bill list, tax refunds, and the middle high school activities and athletic announcements. We'll be moving on next week.
Thank you very much. Food Service Committee, Dr. Smith.
Just to let everybody know, we will soon be putting the cafeteria contract out to bid. There are a lot of new regulations that have come out of Washington about the content of your child's lunch plate. You may have heard about these things. And part of the process is also periodically we rebid the contract, and food service companies have an opportunity to bid on them. So we're working on the specifications now. They require outside approval. So more about this and on.
Thank you. Administrative report, Dr. Pasquarello.
The only item I have is to discuss the Torch newsletter. The question is typically we put that out either once or twice a year, and I wanted to know if the Board of Education would like it out twice or once or not at all.
Did we want to discuss that or think about it?
Let's think about it.
Okay, we will think on that.
Think about that for a couple of weeks with, get rid of all the t-shirts now after we had, a couple minutes to read over the proposal. That's real smart, guys.
Okay, is there any additional old or new business?
Is there going to be a softball coach for the girls?
We'll be making a recommendation from the athletic committee for next week's meeting.
Hearing no old or new business, do we have a motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?